Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the special edition of This Just In Radio. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. Today, we're broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to be here. It's already been an action-packed 72 hours. The HIMSS annual conference is always a centerpiece of my annual schedule, and this happens to be my 25th HIMSS annual conference and my 11th year broadcasting from the annual conference, which leads us to today. This is the start of 3 days, 5 shows, and over 40 guests here in Las Vegas for HIMSS25. We have our best lineup yet of CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, care providers, researchers, policy leaders, and visionaries joining the show. As many of you know, my goal for broadcasting live each year from these key conferences is to create an information medium that shares best practices, key strategies, and actionable intelligence from the industry's leading sources and experts. My objective, along with all my guests here, will be to offer tactics and strategies to not only survive, but to thrive as you navigate your hospital, your physician practice, your company, or even your family through all these changes occurring across healthcare today. There is more opportunity than ever before for all of us to thrive, but we must understand how healthcare is evolving, how policy and reimbursement is shifting, and where best practices and innovation can support our efforts. I hope you glean all of this over the next few days. That's at least my goal. Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. I'm excited to introduce my next guest, Simon Philip Rost, Chief Marketing Officer for GE Healthcare. Simon, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
It's great. When did you get in town, first of all?
Oh, this was on Saturday. Okay. I still had time to acclimatize, and now I'm here.
Good for you. Yeah, well, I'm sure it's been an exciting week, fun week here.
Intense, but also a great one.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to diving in because I know, and I work a lot with AWS, and they brought you up to my attention yesterday because you guys had a really cool announcement. And also, I was in one of their partner sessions, and then really cool announcements around Genesis. So we'll dive into that. Excited to talk about that. But specifically, what do you? Before we dive into even the questions, what have you been most excited to see while you've been here, or what was the kind of the coolest thing that you've seen in the last 3 or 4 or 5 days in town? 5 days in town.
5 days in town. Look, the most exciting thing is talking to customers, right?
Yep.
These shows and to the ecosystem. That's what excites me. Yeah. Technology is part of that, right? Yes. The typical things that you hear are top of mind is AI, Gen AI. That's a big one. Cloud is a big one. Yep. Which becomes more important every day is cybersecurity. So that's somewhere we had many requests. And then the evergreen, which is interoperability, right? These are the topics around that, but most exciting for us, it's cloud likely because we launched our new cloud family. You mentioned that, Genesis.
Yeah, fantastic. So HIMSS25 has been a showcase of healthcare's future. From your perspective, what are the most significant shifts happening right now, and how should healthcare leaders prepare for those shifts?
Amen. I mentioned one is cybersecurity, which I truly think is important, but newer to the game due to our geopolitical situation many times. That's one where we really had a lot of requests, and you should prepare for that as a leader, and you should get understanding of how to address that. Then, I mean, AI is the same. That's something which moved so fast, not just in healthcare, also in my private life.
Right.
I just when I prepared for HIMSS, the first thing I did is I went into basically ChatGPT asking, hey, what will be the main themes customer are asking us? Because we prepared for this for months, but are we on the right track? And what I did is I did this with all of the different algorithms. So with ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, DeepSeek, and the answer, what are the main topics, is quite similar though. And that's another one where people have to prepare for. And then I believe, especially here, the third big theme is cloud, right? This is one, it will enable everything. So these are the themes where I think you should get solid, and you should increase your digital acumen as a leader.
Absolutely. So what I've heard a lot is cloud first, not cloud only, but cloud first as a good strategy. And I kind of like that. AI has been one of the hottest topics in our discussion, certainly here at the show and certainly for the last couple of shows. Beyond the hype, how is AI making a real difference today, and what are some of the biggest challenges in scaling AI-powered solutions across healthcare?
Look, I think we are still very early on.
We are.
In healthcare, right? If you see GE Healthcare, we we have a play in that, especially in the radiology space. If you just take FDA-approved algorithms, there are roughly 800 out there. We have 10% of that, more or less 80, which puts us in a good spot, right? But radiology was very fast in adapting AI, right? And I would say out there, 75% of the algorithms are in the radiology space. But we tend to look at this from 3 different angles. One is, what are the algorithms that help me to make my machine smarter, right? We call this on-device. Very simple example. We have an algorithm that can detect, do you have a collapsed lung, a pneumothorax, which is life-threatening if you have it. And normally a radiologist sees this very early on, right? And it's not a complex thing to understand for a trained radiologist.
Right.
But what do you do if there is no radiologist, right? So the machine tells you, hey, it's a 96% likelihood there is a critical condition, so you better either get a second opinion or you get even the OR ready because this person needs treatment. So on-device is one of the categories. The second one is covering entire care areas, right? Like oncology or cardiology, that you apply AI in this space, right? For us, if you could summarize all of the information that basically is out there very quickly, this would be powerful, right?
Amen.
So,
absolutely.
The average hospital produces 50 petabytes of data. Now I ask you, how many books would you need to capture that?
Yeah, I love that. No, I mean,
no idea?
No, I mean,
I give you.
This is what I love AI. This is why I love it. Yeah.
Give me one. Give me one number.
How many books?
Yeah.
100. I mean, 200,000 or
it's 8 billion books.
Yeah. So.
You would need to capture all of the information.
Yeah.
That at the end a hospital produces each year.
Yeah.
The average hospital.
Wow.
So if you are the caregiver that looks right now into this one sentence that helped me to diagnose or treat, impossible. But that's where AI comes into play because it can digest information 10 times faster or 100 times faster, X times faster. And that's, in oncology, if you could get the most important patient findings, summarize it and put it back to the healthcare professional in a way that he or she understands it, perfect. That's where we work a lot. We have a platform called K-Intellect in this space. And then the last thing is, so this was first on device, second on department/care area, third one is in entire healthcare systems. We have, for example, something called Command Center. It's a concept called out from the aviation industry, where you detect, let's say, bottlenecks in the system in real time, right? And that's the 3 ways where we look at that at this point in time.
Yeah, I think I heard about Command Center. Was Perry, is it Perry leads the cloud strategy for GE?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, as Chief AI Officer and also AI. He's
yes. So I met him at the conference. A couple months ago. So I heard a little bit about that. Fantastic.
Even that, think about that, how critical this topic is for us as GE Healthcare. We implemented a function which is the Chief AI Officer in the company. I mean, this shows how much value we put on that topic and how much disruption we foresee as well. It's likely the most disrupting theme you will have in healthcare in the next years.
Absolutely, and he was actually very inspiring. Perry was a great speaker, great session. We had a little private event offsite here. It's fantastic. So we've talked a lot about the show and the growing importance of cloud technology in healthcare. You was talking about a little bit there. GE Healthcare's partnership with AWS is a great example of this. How do you see the cloud computing accelerating innovation and improving healthcare delivery?
I mean, look, that's the interesting thing. Our customers are not coming to us and say, hey, give me cloud.
Exactly.
Right? But if you just believe in stats, and I do a lot, today roughly, if you believe the research firms we partner with, like Signify Research, Frost & Sullivan, they say, like, look, 25% to 30% in enterprise imaging today is a cloud-based solution. Fast forward, in 3 years from now, this will be 50%. Right, so there's a clear demand for cloud. Why is that? One, again, is the security business.
Yeah, security.
That's likely for me the biggest driver.
Scale.
The second one out there in the market is that there's an ongoing consolidation in the healthcare world, right? Healthcare providers, which makes it more complex to access these data points. And the third one is healthcare is a very let's say, tense system in terms of cost, right? I read recently that 20% of healthcare spending is wasteful, which is not nice.
Yeah.
So this
it's very true, though. Yeah.
Think about this. If you invest €100, $100, 100 yen, 20% goes to the bin. I mean, that's
bad.
Impressive, right? So a lot of improvement potential.
Absolutely.
But what I want to say, there's a need for these operational business models, shifting from investments from a capex to an opex, and these are three main drivers why this acceleration in cloud is happening. Plus, we talked a lot about artificial intelligence. I mean, we leverage our long-year partner, I think nearly a decade right now, that we work with AWS very closely, to develop our algorithms, because they have the tools, the toolkits to do so, right? So these are the main four drivers where I believe cloud is here to stay, right? And something which actually needs to accelerate. I would be happy if we could move from 30% market share to 50 in 3 years, but in 2 from now, or in 1.
Well, I think we're on our way. I mean, that goes back to where it's cloud first, not cloud only, and so I think that's what we're all thinking now. Certainly with what with security as being a paramount point there, and also scalability, interoperability. I think
And I mean, also comfort. Think about that. You can dedicate your IT teams in the hospital to more strategic topics, and to outsource let's say, the bread and butter normally, what Amazon Web Services is doing, right? So you can focus your IT teams to more strategic topics in your healthcare system.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. So you guys, GE Healthcare recently introduced Genesis as a major step in your cloud strategy. What makes your platform unique, and how does it help healthcare organizations operate?
Look, the first thing is, it was Tuesday. Very exciting times for us, because we brought our enterprise imaging portfolio to market under the umbrella brand of Genesis.
Yes.
So this right now includes 4 main offerings. One is Edge. So you talked about cloud first. I will address this in a second.
Yep.
The second one is storage. Very simple thing, but storage is a big
storage,
need. Third one is our vendor-neutral archive. So the ability to archive imaging data and other data points from the healthcare system and work with it. And the last one is the migration services, because we want to accelerate the cloud journey of our customers. For us, it is actually the access to innovation, what this gives to us and to our customers, right?
Love it.
In a very secure way. That's the point why we launched this, and I mentioned before why we think it's the right time to launch this right now.
Yeah, and we, this show came out of kind of nowhere, because you just launched it on Tuesday. I didn't even know about it before Tuesday, but it was so impressive.
We were at CNBC actually, which I think for a marketeer is I directly sent this to my boss saying, hey, did you see that?
Right. Well, that's how it got to me. It was because of CNBC, and then it was sent to me, and like, all right, well, he's here at HIMSS. AWS is a great partner of mine, great partner of yours, and so I was like, you know what? They made it happen, so I'm glad we could make this show, because, in full transparency, this is our last show while we're here at the conference, but it's awesome. So I'm glad it came together, and congratulations again on the launch. What are some of the ways that your AWS collaboration is enhancing clinical workflows and improving outcomes for both both providers and patients?
I mean, look, first of all, it's the expertise. I mean, the expertise that somebody like AWS has.
Absolutely.
If you have to rebuild this yourself, I mean, you would need an IT army in your hospital. And the same in GE Healthcare, right? This partnership goes back for, I think it's a decade. Right? And you even see how interesting this is. We had yesterday a customer event where we had also AWS as a partner present, and Ashwini, who's the CMIO.
We love Ashwini. She's great. She's a good friend of our show as well.
She gave a keynote, and in this keynote, she was addressing all of the GE members in our development team, in our product team, even in the marketing team, by surname. That's something I tell you. Being German, there is one stereotype of us that we are very formal. We normally don't come with a surname. We always say like, hey, Mr. Rost, how are you? And this is a sign of trust. So this partnership is very important. But I think it's the expertise. I think it's the pure scale they have as well in the market, right? It's likely the one that has the broadest footprint out there. They can cover, like GE, not just one region, but the entire one. And for patients' outcomes, at the end, this was your question, and then for the outcome of healthcare professionals, the point is that the teams in the hospital right now can focus the IT teams on more strategic things. That's one.
Right.
And the second one is one that I mentioned very early on. It's the access to innovation. Right? You always keep your customer on the most recent version, right? So you always give them access to the most recent innovation you have out there. These are the two main points I see, apart from many others that could help. Right?
Yeah, and even something we had a great, and Ashwini is Dr. Davison. She's amazing. Sabar, and I always love to give her kudos. But I also think about what you guys did. The AWS tent is very large, and so even one of the byproducts there is we had this amazing dinner on Monday night with a lot of the cancer registries and leading academic institutions for pediatric and oncology practice, and they also the learning that comes from it. So not only do you have access to the innovation, but you also have access to the leading experts in this under this umbrella in this tent. That's significant because then we start to work, and where we work together, we work better. We're better together. We all know that, and so that's also what they foster. So I love that aspect too. A key theme here at HIMSS25, and certainly from all my guests, has been the need for digital tools to align with real-world provider and patient needs. So how is GE Healthcare ensuring that your latest developments address the challenges healthcare organizations are facing today specifically?
I mean, that's something that we changed also recently, because large engineering companies have many ideas, and they like to build features in their products.
Right.
We have roughly 51,000 employees, so I guess all very smart people.
Right.
But if you just take statistics, there are more smart people outside of GE Healthcare than in there.
Right.
So what we built is a medical advisory board.
Okay.
So where we meet once a year in detail with selected advisors, users of our software, but also non-users.
Right.
And we expose them to our tools that we build right now with a clear mandate. Not tell us which feature you want, but more, hey, how should this be 3-5 years out from now?
Right.
So do you dictate, or do you need certain kind of things? Do you need ambient recognition?
Yeah.
So this is we leverage them to tell us where we should go in the product development, and we have very selected people and work very closely with them. We meet twice a year in true workshops. So that's charting the future. On top of that, I'm a very strong believer in user groups, bringing together actual people that use your technology, showing them how you use it to then see, hey, where are issues, or where are we doing things that are really good that we could share with the rest? And the third one is what I call communities, where we can put in ad hoc requests, right? But in GE also we have very lean mindset. There is a concept which we call going to Gemba, and that's in our corporate operating principles, so our values, to do that, right? To basically become a lean leader, and you best experience technology if you see how the user group is working with it. So I myself spent significant amount of time not just talking to customers, but visiting them in their radiology departments, visiting them in the hospitals to get a real understanding, and our development teams do the same. So that's these are 3-4 ways at the end how we are guaranteeing that at least we capture the kind of ideas of our customers and what should be developed.
And this, you bring up a great point, because that's also best practice. I've built a couple companies in my day, and I never got, and certainly our leadership team, every single member of the leadership team had to visit at least one customer every single year, if not multiple customers, because you never want to get too far away from the usability of the customer. And so customer usability groups and our annual user conference were always critical to our success, long-term success, but also staying deeply engaged with those use cases and those customers and the problems those customers need to solve.
I mean, I'm even more bullish on that. And what I can control, in my team, I tell them you have to see each month 3 type of customers.
That's great.
One who's happy, right? Because the easiest one to talk to. Absolutely. That's the person that likely goes and directly tells you what's going on. Then a neutral one,
who's ambivalent,
and then one who's not happy. Right?
Great.
And that's this is why I like HIMSS, for example. Right? You have every day.
Everybody's here.
All 3 of them. You have the happy ones, the unhappy ones, and also the neutral ones. So, but that's something which I established basically in my control.
Right.
In my team, that hey, please do that. From marketing leader to basically marketing specialist, this should be the case.
Fantastic best practice. Love it. As we look beyond HIMSS25, what's next for GE Healthcare in the digital health space? I mean, what's the biggest opportunities of innovation in the next couple of years? 2 to 3 years.
I mean, 2 to 3 years. For us, for my business unit, which covers enterprise imaging, it's bringing together all of these data points. Right now, normally, the biggest producer of data in the healthcare system, I would say, is radiology, by far. The next biggest one is cardiology. Why? Because of the disease area.
Absolutely.
One is basically radiology is diagnostics, so cardiology is treating disease. Next one is pathology.
Yep,
right?
pathology,
that's what we bring in. Then ophthalmology, point of care ultrasound, women's health. Right. So one important thing I believe out there is to bring together all of these data sets and all of these multimodal data sets and bring them somewhere where I can structure them and act on them, right? Because right now we are good in capturing, EMRs are good in capturing structured data.
Right.
The unstructured data out there, the imaging data, difficult, right? So that's one important point. And the second one is then to apply artificial intelligence tools on that to gain either new insights or to make you more efficient in your way of working. You ask what's out there in the next 1 to 3 years. What we see a lot is this kind of, and what we also embed into our products is summarization. So how can I take the data from the EMR, from the VNA, from even smartwatches in the future, and from different kind of data silos, and summarize it in a way that the healthcare professional has it at hand when he or she needs it. That's a big one right now where generative AI is playing a big role. And then what's coming more and more are these AI agents.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Again, a buzzword likely out there, but what it does is at the end, I'll give you a very simple example. You have in healthcare a multidisciplinary team or a tumor board that meet around you as a patient. Simon has cancer, so they meet around me and they have various disciplines talking basically about me. Time consuming and very much when one of these persons are not available, what do you do? So you can build agents that are basically reflecting all of these domains, right, and can play this role. This will not replace the healthcare professional, but you can interact with them in a virtual manner and fill in the need until the human, let's say, counterpart is available, right? These are things that we see progressing quite fast. And then the typical algorithms that help you to detect something on the scan, that's also something.
Patient care side, we desperately, excited. So you bring up an actually good point. I think people think about this, and I don't know the exact stat. I would say it's 90-10, but 10% of data is probably structured, 90% is not structured right now, something like that. So that is also the opportunity. I think during our dinner, this oncology and pediatric dinner that we did a couple nights ago, we talked about pathology being one of the next big frontiers because of most of it's unstructured today. And so the advancements that can be made just in pathology alone, certainly moving into the cloud, making it more structured, then layering in AI, I mean, that's really going to, it's going to help us significantly, even on the personal medicine side, which then when we say personalized medicine, that just means great treatment for us as individual patients. So, I mean,
Plus more insights faster. That's what it is at the end. I mean, with pathology, it's large data sets, right? That's where you need tools like the cloud to bring them together, right?
Absolutely.
But the beauty is in combining your radiology data with your pathology and your lab results and giving this all at one hand, right? And saying, hey, I summarize this for you in a report. You go in there and as a pathologist and you say, hey, this seems to be for me like not congruent. So you go deep and look at the scan. But the idea is to basically digest the information up front before you go yourself deep.
Exactly. No, and I get really excited. This is why I do what I do, and I love this aspect of innovation and aspect of where we're going in healthcare. So in our closing minute, a couple of minutes, at the end of the day, all this innovation, AI, cloud, and interoperability is meant to improve patient care. How does GE ensure that technology advancements translate into real measurable benefits for patients? And we just gave, I think, a pretty good example there. But what are your specific thoughts?
I mean, look, I think if you see our strategy in GE, we call it the 3D, right? 1D is device and drugs, right? So what I called before, embed intelligence into our machines that we build. The second one is disease. That's entire care areas. There, I think a lot of power will come to play, right? Right now, the typical ones are cardiology, oncology, because it's just the biggest, let's say, treatments today. The biggest disease, let's say, reasons. But then there's neurology. There's a non-spoken medicine. So there's so many more things you can do where you can basically help patients to and create patient outcomes. And the third one that we have is what we call digital. That's where my business comes into play, how you summarize all of this, you capture from multimodal data points, the data, you bring it together in a place where you can work with it, right? And then afterwards, you apply digital tools that help you to, at the end, get to precision diagnosis, or to precision monitoring, or to precision therapies, right? And if you bring these three together, that's where I believe the power lies. So what I always say is you have to marry, so hospitals and providers that are able to marry clinical excellence, which they know, technology, which they rely on people like us and our market companions, and data science. This will be the ones that succeed in the future.
Yeah, and this is when it gets really exciting. Again, I mean, we do all this work and all this technology and all this, leadership, but at the end of the day, what's coming before us is extremely exciting as patients. Certainly, and providers are very happy. This is the direction, but us as patients, this is our future. I even use a term now here at HIMSS25 is we're no longer going to be guinea pigs. We're going to know exactly what helps us. We're not going to take, we'll try this and try that. And just the excitement also around today, someone may have to take 4 or 5 or 6 different pills. Once you have your genome sequence and we have all this and you have the digital twin, now we might need one pill. We may know exactly specifically what treatment help you at a 98% efficacy or 100% efficacy.
I would even go one step before that. I would say, hey, don't even give me the pill.
Right.
Detect that I should sleep more.
Right. Far in advance.
Do more sports.
Good point.
Predict basically upfront. Hey Simon, if you are not sleeping and you're on the gambling table every night here, maybe you get ill at this point in time.
That's right.
So reduce that, right?
Yeah. We'll know within a 5-year period when you're going to get ill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is life. This predictive life.
Absolutely.
Let's say changes that you have to take. That's where the future is going from sick care to real health, right? To predict diseases before it even needs a pill.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah, fantastic. Simon, appreciate you joining the show. You're fantastic. What else do you hope to achieve while you're here? When do you fly out?
Actually, I have to run right
in an
now
hour.
Because,
going to the airport.
All
right, my friend. Simon, thank you so much. Welcome and safe travels back home.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. That's a wrap from Las Vegas and HIMSS25. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to everyone who voted us 2024 Healthcare Podcast of the Year. Thank you so much, Roberta Mullen, Greg Masters, Carol Flagg, and the entire crew at the Healthcare Now Radio Network. They've also been producing my show for 11 years. Also, a special note of thanks to Jake Reed, my head of media, and certainly a big thank you to Hal Wolf, Albie Zakes, Morgan Searles, the entire HIMSS team. They're always extremely supportive in the events and broadcasting requirements that I have. And again, thank you so much to all my listeners. We're grateful for you. You make us better with every broadcast. And that's a wrap from Las Vegas. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.